Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Hearthstone. I made the horrible mistake of deciding to lie down and now my back does not appreciate sitting back upright to record. That was terrible, so if I sound like I'm having trouble breathing or in massive pain, you now know why. We have one more recording I needed to do and I should have just done it right after the last one. We have some things to talk about. Mostly I need to play some warrior cards. I need to play 4 shaman cards and 16 beasts. So we're gonna hop in here, play shaman ranked. Let's just in fact skip the ranked and go to casual because why not? So 4 shaman cards played, then concede. That's all I have to do here, and that's all I want to do. I tell you, ever since I've gotten the my new mattress, it's been so soft. I've gone from a mattress that was way too hard, way too firm, to now something that's probably too soft. And it works for sleeping. No pain there, no pain when laying down. It's just once you get out of bed, oh man, you don't want back problems. That's one of the factors that I've always thought about, and it's kind of a catch-22 because people who end up with back problems often are also the people in their youth who didn't exercise enough and risk hurting their back by running around, playing, climbing trees, you know, exercising, playing sports, things like that. That being said, when somebody is playing a sport or something, or climbing trees, climbing walls, or whatever, and they do end up having a back problem, it's usually a much more traumatic back problem that they have, as in they snap their back. And so, but I think there's kind of this insidious, at least for me in particular, fact of being inactive, sitting around playing too much video games, has certainly started to affect me, and I certainly didn't see that coming, although I totally should. So what card did I just play? Let's see, I played 1 now. So EA must have been having a conference because they talked about a couple of things here. EA has announced a new watermark and hashtags for being sponsored or being an advertisement for EA, which is weird because they don't make the rules as far as disclosure. The FCC and the US government does if you're in the US government in whatever country you happen to be in, makes the rules elsewise. So the idea of them coming out and saying these are the things you have to do when you work with us, while helpful and it makes sense, it's really just that they're not saying it right. They're not saying, in compliance with the laws, we are requiring everybody who works with us to do these things. They're saying, no, because we're good guys and we want to put the customers first, we're requiring all these things, and it's not the case. So there's 2 things there. That one is supported by EA, so assumedly this includes if you're a streamer or influencer or anybody at all, really, and EA gives you any kind of anything. Pretty much if you've had a conversation with EA at all, you probably are within the range of qualifying as being sponsored by EA.
You are not the boss of me.
So it could be that they sent you a copy of the game. It could be that they took you to a a Hawaii retreat to play the game. It could be that they sent you to Rome to see the same place that the game is set in. Anything like that. Anything that gives you any kind of support at all, I would assume counts. Financial or otherwise. I think even if it was as little as they mentioned your coverage of the game on Twitter, I think at that point you might want to do the sponsored.
My totems! My pretty totems! My pretty...
So, but the slight
I don't wanna!
split there is if they gave you money and controlled what you said, then you're not being supported. That one specifically has to be an advertisement. So, supported is pretty much anything that's not an advertisement, and I'm sure they're going to try and wiggle around there and say, we don't have any specific things there, any rules, but if they get any approval, if they have any, if they say they want to see your video first, if they in any way control your criticism at all, even as little as saying no cussing in the review, then that's an advertisement, and it should be called that way. In a lot of ways, a lot of YouTubers are just advertisers, and that's in part why I call myself a video game critic and not just a YouTube video game streamer or something like that, because I am, at least in my own head, here to criticize. I'm not here to advertise. Quite often I'll play games that I know are bad at the beginning. Quite often I'll finish games that I was uncertain about and say it's not really worth playing. So that's, I try to disclose as much. Again, on my disclosures thing, the only thing I have to disclose that I know I have to disclose is that some of the games I've gotten, I've won or been given free through contests online. No one has directly approached me and offered me a game except for Chair for Shadow Complex. They tried to contact me after I had already recorded Shadow Complex, and I never responded to it. So Chair did contact me. I just didn't see it nor get back to it until after I'd already recorded the entire series. And frankly, if I had seen it, I probably would have just thought more is the better to not deal with that, because I don't want to be in relationships with the video game companies. Obviously, they don't even really want to be in relationship with critics and reviewers. Just recently, Bethesda said we're not giving out review copies except for to a few select people every few days. Plenty of other people have blacklisted and blackballed reviewers who sometimes give bad reviews. They only want to give it to people who are guaranteed to give positive reviews always. And so, yeah, I want a healthy dose of distance between myself and the video game companies. That being said, maybe that changes next week. I mean, budgeting is a concern, and if EA, Ubisoft, Bethesda, if any of them came back and said, we're going to give you all of our games, and that would be several hundreds to thousands of dollars of games that I wouldn't have to purchase them. And if they say, we're going to give you our new games early, that very well might be several hundreds to thousands of views on my channel, which would really help my channel. So I am certainly possible to fall into that same trap, and it's an offer I can't really refuse.
Do you hear its call?
and so I
Listen closely.
wouldn't secretly do it. Certainly, I would say this. I would still disclose because I'm legally required to, or at the very least recommended to. But I might not be able to turn down offers for free games and early access. I don't think very many YouTubers who want to make a business of their channel can turn down those offers.
Listen closely.
But I guess, as crappy as EA is sometimes, I can't really say anything bad about them handing out watermarks and requiring all of their people they work with to make sure they do what they are supposed to do, because I'm sure a lot of YouTubers don't know about disclosure and it's not really a big thing.
Shield for Argon.
Now the reason why I think EA was speaking at some conference or something is the next story is they say EA games are developed for high-end PCs then scaled down to consoles. And I went and decided to be a real investigative person here and see if that was true. So I went and looked at what EA games I could find. I tried to search directly through Steam, but it's actually rather hard to search that way because you have to know an EA game, then click on the name of EA, and several different names of EA exist. So there might be an EA and EA Sports and Electronic Arts and Electronic Arts Sports, so many different things that don't line up there.
I have an axe.
So searching through Steam sucks that way. It also, you cannot, as far as I can find, search by ESRB ratings. So if you're looking for a kids game on Steam, functionality is just completely missing. Anyway, so, but I looked at their EA games, and I think that's mostly true, except for their mobile games, because EA has made specific mobile games that came out for mobile first, and that was the main focus. And clearly, something like the new Dungeon Keeper free-to-play game, mobile game, was not built for high-end PCs, and any of their other mobile games.
Do you know
But
the secret handshake?
as we're kind of doing a political fact here, I think that the mostly true part of that requires a big caveat, because that EA games being programmed is not the problem with EA games. Them being programmed for high-end PCs. Their company is not the company that made things like the Arkham Knight or Bethesda's broken games like Skyrim, Fallout, and Dishonored. EA has never had that problem. What EA has as a problem is it fills its games with fee-to-pay garbage, trying to suck money out of you. It tries for season passes, it tries for DLC. Its games aren't very good sometimes, and they do a lot of sports games, but mostly they're just trying to suck money out of you. So, yeah, their games are high-end and made well. Their menus have started to suck in some of the games too.
Listen closely.
But that's not the focus. It's kind of a bait and switch trick there, completely.
I have an axe to grind.
Alright. Do I want to kill this guy? Nope. So now I'm wearing down the conversation things here down to the very few. Pokemon Pirates have been blocked by Game Freaks / Nintendo, one of the two. So if you pirated Pokemon Sun and Moon, your access to the internet has been blocked. Seems pretty fair. I don't know why you would pirate the latest Pokemon game anyways, but
The feast of
for a couple different reasons though. Let's do this. Yeah, don't steal the newest Pokemon ever. They're gonna have tricks in there. I hear Dishonored 2 is not that good, which kind of sucks. I don't even think I made a list here, but that made it to the list. It kind of sucks, but it also just helps justify me not playing it. I hear the graphics look like the original game, which is a problem.
Your nightmare begins.
Alright.
all realities, all dimensions.
I've lost. They've done this Zelda live escape thing with Nintendo. That's another thing. So what that means as far as a live escape is that they lock you in a room and it's going to be Zelda themed and you're going to be with a group of people. Because they never could really afford to have one person in the room alone. And there's going to be like puzzles in the room that you're going to try to solve under a certain amount of time. They've gotten pretty popular. They're kind of like the new laser tag fad. I don't know how long they're going to really last because they're really expensive to do. It's a thing adults are doing when they should be saving their money. And it takes a lot of time. You have to go to special places. I'm sure a lot of video game like reviewers and their friends in New York and California are going to do it, but when you're talking people on a farm in Kansas, rural people, not the rich people, the people that don't write news articles, they're not going to ever be within 100 miles of these things, and they're not going to do it. So it's kind of like a Disney World attraction, which with less likelihood of somebody actually doing that. So it seems kind of weird that Nintendo would even be part of it, but not entirely crazy. Let's see, I only have like 4 more of these warrior cards to play too, so then I need to start focusing on beasts. But that's one thing they're doing. Also, if we want to talk about weird things, LEGO Dimensions has added a Red Dwarf level to LEGO Dimensions. And this is weird in a few places. First of all, Red Dwarf is a British comedy. It's pretty old now. It could be up to its 10th, 15th year. It could be quite far from when it first aired. It also has had some severe breaks where they said they weren't going to make any more, and then a couple of years go by and they make another season, and it's British season, so it may only be 6-7 episodes. Some of the later seasons, they're so old they don't have the comedic timing down right. They've done all the stories before. Entire seasons of the newer Red Dwarfs have just been attempts to repeat the same joke that we found hilarious. People who saw the Red Dwarf at least found hilarious. I suppose it's worth mentioning Red Dwarf is kind of this space Blade Runner-esque game, TV show, very low budget. And it's just for a niche audience and a very old audience too, so it really has no point. Doctor Who makes sense. Like, Doctor Who makes a lot of sense because kids with their parents could sit down and watch Doctor Who. Doctor Who is practically a kid's show. But Red Dwarf, no. It's not age appropriate. Really, it's not super dirty, but it really isn't age appropriate for kids, and yeah, there's just no point there. Now the weird thing is, because I'm stupidly big into Lego, I actually know that on Lego Ideas, the website where people make ideas for new Lego kits, they were pitching a Red Dwarf set. In fact, there have been 2 or 3 sets that have tried to get support and get in front of the eyes of Lego, and so they must have seen this. But instead of making a real set, they made a Lego Dimensions thing. I mean, it seems really silly. So the only thing actually that's going to come about in the Lego Dimensions level, I think, is probably going to be, I think the way it works is if you get a level in Lego Dimensions, it's going to be 2 minifig characters, which doesn't work with Red Dwarf because there's at least 5 characters that need to be in there. Maybe if you get it down to 4, but it could be as high as 6 and of the main characters. There's this one.
Well played.
There's this one female character that showed up for a couple seasons, and that was about it. So if you leave her out, then it's four guys, and then there's some other characters you could also throw in there. So that doesn't make any sense for a Lego Dimensions level. It's going to be 4 minifigs instead of the usual 2, and then 1 vehicle, which Red Dwarf is the name of the ship that they are usually in, but not always in, because sometimes they lose. For a couple seasons, they changed their location, and they got lost to Red Dwarf, and therefore they were on, I think it was called the Starbug instead. So it would have to be a vehicle of either the Red Dwarf or the Starbug. And so they're going to make very, very little of actual Lego pieces. And the rest of it's just all going to be these 3D models of this area. That's just going to be this area, I would assume. I don't think there's anything else to it. I don't know if it's going to bother to even tell any story or anything. Let's see. See if I could just kill this one guy.
Back to work. Nice strike.
And if I could just keep this one guy alive, he would win. Let's see, do I have any beasts to play? Nope. So very, very strange decision, and I just don't know what Lego's doing here. Lego Dimensions still isn't on PC, so that's also where you would get the older people. It would get me into it, but as it stands, I'm thinking to myself, well, I guess I'm just never going to get the Lego Dimensions, so I'm going to wait till Lego Dimensions stops working, and then I'll maybe get some of the figures and the characters from that. As for my other Lego collections, like, I would kind of like a Red Dwarf thing, but it's not. I don't believe that that's like gonna be the coolest of appearances because those sets were pretty bad, and just this, the cast is all I kind of want there. So there's some weirdness there. Weird choice. Weird choice. You'd think they'd do like McDonald's or Burger King or something. Go further in the kids realm. I would have figured that they would do that. If they could get some contract with Nintendo and get all those amiibos in there, that would be nice too. So I'm just gonna play as Hunter now and see if I can play Beast cards. Doom had a no metal precondition. Now, I'm not sure if this is the original Doom or the remake of Doom, and it kind of doesn't matter either way. I think it was the remake, but this is the problem of renaming a remake the exact same thing as the original game. The original Doom, definitely originally a thrash metal soundtrack, and the new soundtrack is definitely metal too, so they broke that rule real fast. But I mean, that's totally what it should be. It totally should be metal, for a game like that. It would just feel so out of place if you were doing the wrong thing. I could maybe see doing rap or R&B if in doing Doom, because like gangster rap would probably also fit the Doom guy running around shooting monsters. But if you're talking classical or operatic, or if you're talking country western, none of that would sound
to the
right.
exhibit.
Techno, no. So a lot of that makes sense. Let's go ahead and do this. Do this. And then the turn. And then the last thing that was on my list, because I wrote too big, is the NVIDIA drivers. The newest ones, the ones I just installed, seem to be affecting negatively the RAM speed of the video cards. Not probably super surprising that certain things like that happen. I wonder if that might actually be in direct reaction to them overheating in a certain spot on video cards. That might just be their solution here, is to lower the RAM speed. But if that was intentionally their actions, then they're setting up for another lawsuit. But who knows, maybe you waived your right to a lawsuit by installing the drivers or something like that. You messed up there. Should have silenced this guy so she could have attacked around. Let's see.
Drink with me, friend.
Such big teeth I have.
Job's done.
Get all these beasts out here. And see, after this game, I'll probably be done because I'm out of things to talk about. Dangerously close to having other things to talk about because I took so long to start recording today. Not my fault this time. This time I had to take somebody else to a doctor, so not my fault. But yeah, adding things to my list means I have to kind of clear off my list. I've just now realized this after what has probably been 5 months of using my news board to write news. I've just right now realized, you know what? You have to cover everything you write down, because if you don't, then
Come midnight.
then you can't. You can't erase it and continue playing. There we go.
Challenge accepted.
Run away!
I think we might win here on the turn. I guess maybe I should stall a little bit. See how far we could get.
You have better.
Nope, can't do that. So that's gonna be it for this recording session. Even if I have some beasts to play, actually, yeah, I still have a decent amount of beasts to play on. But I got the other things. So that'll get me another 50. That'll get me up to 7,000, which means I'll have 2,000 after I use the 5,000 that we have here. I counted when I did the Heroic Tavern Brawl, and I have like 35 legendary cards still to get. So in theory, if you always get a new legendary and you don't get repeats, then, which might very well be the case, like 35 times 20 means 700 more packs. Maybe that would be close to a good estimate of how many more packs I need to open before I have a complete collection of legendaries. And within that 700 packs, I almost certainly would get everything else I'm missing, and then also probably having a lot of dust, and it'd probably be less than 700 packs. But I wouldn't bet it's too far from that. So it could be a while, a long while, if I'm having to spend 5,000 to get 50 packs. I would have to spend 10,000 to get 100, so 70,000 gold. Yeah, that's a lot of gold. And that's not even talking about the potential of getting the gold back cards, which that would be way beyond it. And we're not really making any progress very fast to getting everything up to 60. Everything is kind of at 50 right now and just slowly leveling up. And I bet by the end of 2017 we might have everything up to 60, maybe. Anywho, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps out. I'm going to play the rest of this off screen. If you want to support me further, you can go to my main YouTube page. On the right is a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want a friend to follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.